Megan, would you mute yourself? Okay, CZ, show us the book.
There she is. Da, da, da. Can everybody see it? Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
In all of its glory. Ding, ding, ding. It's
All
actually
access. And
there.
I'm going to be like your host for tonight. So I'm going to interview CZ for a little bit. So tell me, CZ, tell us what or who inspired you to write this amazing book?
So when I started this process, I wasn't necessarily out to write a book. I had a milestone birthday, and then we hit a pandemic in 2020, and all of my milestone birthdays, and at those times, I like to just kind of reflect where I've been, where I'm at, and because I'm a lifelong learner, where I'm going. And I started to reread all of my journals from my past, and I was journaling currently, and I kept seeing this kind of theme with my career. And a question just kept coming up through this thread, and it was why? Why are we kind of here? Why am I kind of here? How did I get to this point? What are the things in my past that brought me to this? And what is going to take me to the next level? And I just decided through all of the kind of stories and experiences that I kind of had a message. And I started to just frame out that message, just put it in a kind of a table of contents, just framing it out. And then at the very end, as I'm asking myself these questions, I thought maybe I have a story to tell. So at the end of it, I thought, well, what lessons have I learned? What can I teach others moving forward? And is there a benefit to my voice in this industry? And I ran it through a lot of other event professionals, people that I hold dear and I work closely with. And overwhelmingly, they said, yeah, we've been experiencing kind of the same things. And we feel like you do have a voice. So I framed it out. And from there, it just kind of took a life of its own. And so then by those experiences, I have, my book in my hand. And it's just been a crazy journey, but that's been the truth.
Let's give her a round of applause. Good job. Good job. So tell us, this title, CZ, it's a really unique title. How did you come up with this title?
So when you're running large events, like 5,000 people up, typically you have a level of access that's allowed given your position. So if you have full all access, that means you have access to the backstage, any speakers, entertainment areas, full access. There's nothing closed to you because you need to have the autonomy to run through the event to do your job. And I thought, as we talk about how event professionals and how industry professionals can get to that level within their organization with their clients, they would need all access. So it just kind of, it was very organic. It was like, I have all access in my events. I should have all access with my career. I should have all access within my community, within my company to have what I need and the tools that I need to get my job done. So what we really need as event professionals is all access to our leadership, to our C-suite, to decision makers, so that we can be most effective for ourselves and for them.
And now the whole world has all access to what's in this book.
Provided they follow the steps, yes.
Yeah. So how long did it take for you to complete the project?
It was a long project for me because I'm very critical of myself. So they're not necessarily second guessing, but I just wanted to be sure that the message that I was providing was concise, it was clear, it was something that could be easily followed, easily put into practice, and then given real life examples of why that works and how you can quickly implement it. So I didn't want it to read like stereo instruction. I wanted it to read like true, practical, easy to follow material. So it took me a while to kind of frame that out and find my voice in that aspect.
And then how much of your personal experience?
Enough that I have people that won't talk to me. I wanted to be true and honest, because what is the point of writing a political book or statement that isn't clearly showing the truth behind the message, right? It's not always pretty. People think that our job is champagne, celebrities, and that we have the best. And we hear it all the time. What do you do for a living? I'm an event professional. Oh my gosh, my niece would be so great at that. My nephew would be so wonderful. What a dream job you must have. That's not the truth. That's not necessarily the case. It can be very daunting. It can be long hours. It can be incredibly stressful. Forbes puts us as the top 10 most stressful jobs year after year in their magazine, and they do so for a reason. So you just kind of get tired of hearing that rhetoric and just this assumption that your job is so easy and it's so easy to do. It's certainly not the case. Anybody who does it understands that.
So CZ, we gather that this book is written for event planners, but is it kind of limited to event planners only, or anybody else can benefit from the book?
Not necessarily. At the end of the day, it's just a very good guide of how to be a better professional. If you want to be heard in your career, if you want to establish a brand, if you want to establish yourself as your own personal brand, how to be heard, not just with your boss, but with your boss's boss, with the C-suite. Although you may not have that position, this will give you some steps on how to get that courage to have a voice and how to seize those moments and notice those moments as they become available. So not necessarily just ideal to event planners, but honestly, at the end of the day, this book is just a call to be a better professional.
I totally agree with you, but I also think that almost everybody at some time in their life is going to have to plan an event. You know, they have a birthday party, their child's birthday party, you're hosting Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner or your spouse party or anniversary. And even in smaller companies, you might be the administrative assistant, but you're being called upon to plan a lunch or something. So this book is targeted to event planners, but I think anybody and everybody can benefit from it to have a less stressful life and to have better events in your life. Thank you for taking the time to put it together. So would you like to share about 3 or 4 nuggets that really you prefer to share, would like to share with us at this time?
Well, the whole book is full of nuggets, right? So basically there's a lot of stories in the book. It kind of reads like 2 separate books. There's a lot of stories, a lot of how and why. Like I said, when I first started thinking about it, that constant question that was coming up is why. So it's a little bit of history. It's a little bit of where we are now, but then certainly where we should be striving to be as professionals. You know, we have lots of associations that do a great job of promoting our profession. And we sit in rooms and they tell us, you know, when we get together, we change the world. And that is absolutely 100% true. But that message is not necessarily getting to the C-suite and to leadership. So my book in this position is at a grassroots level, what can we do as professionals to promote ourselves? And that starts with the individual, right? That starts with the individual, because as you rise, you will then increase awareness of our profession and what it is that we do and what we actually can contribute to the bottom line into any organization. You know, the old adage is a rising tide raises all ships, right?
Yep.
So that's basically what it comes down to. So for me, I really enjoyed the stories. I mean, this was a labor of love. I absolutely love it. But I would love to then defer to anybody who has read the book and for them to share what maybe the key takeaway and the nuggets that they have from the book, if there are any, if anybody wants to share or has anything to contribute.
That's exactly what we're going to do next. We're
Great.
going to have an open mic session. All I ask is you be aware of the person who is speaking, don't interrupt, mute yourself. When you are ready to speak, unmute yourself. And it's open mic, so whoever would like to go first, go for it and tell us about your experience. If you read the book, what you like about the book. If you work with CZ, what you liked about her, and maybe what you didn't like about her. Make it real.
That's fair.
That's loaded.
Okay.
I'll go.
All right, Heather.
For those that don't know me, I'm Heather Campbell. I had the pleasure of working under CZ, and she was my leader for many years, and I really feel fortunate to have had that experience and learned a lot from her. I really enjoyed the book. I'm not a reader. It was an easy read for me. I read it in a day and a half. I thoroughly enjoyed all the stories, some of which I fully remember. But really, I felt it to be very authentic, and I loved it for that reason. She wasn't hiding or having any airs about her experiences. She was truthful in all of it. So really enjoyed it. Super proud of you. And congratulations.
Thank you, Heather. Next.
Well, I'm Chris Williams, and I have read the book, and I know where the bodies are buried. So I first of all, I've known CZ for quite a while, and I know it's 2 minutes, but I'm going to go straight to my nugget. So I'm events by default, I guess you could say, because I work with the learning and development or training departments. So I was constantly with the events team. And so I'm thrown in with the faces of, and Springer's on here, but Abby and Rick and Heather, and of course the notorious leader CZ. And so I got to see things firsthand. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, there is not 1 inch of fiction in this book. So I'm just here to tell you that right now. But the part that gets me, I honestly feel, I know you said the CZ, this is for events. I'm giving it to my C-suite people. They're all getting it. I think
everybody does. That would be the dream, Chris. Thank you.
Because
yes.
I think events get such a short stick on this one. And Hallmark doesn't help, because every time they are looking for love, I want to plan parties. Screw you, whatever. But anyway, chapter 10. Besides the decapitation and the party planner that planned the whole Game of Thrones thing, that was one of my favorite. But chapter 10 really resonates with me when you do the 5 bullets, and I've got it marked. Use your education to be a squeaky wheel. Get noticed by higher ups by combining industry knowledge with company needs. Create goals based on company visions and missions. If you have a boss block, document any poor interactions with them, and be careful who you trust with your venting. Be loud, be bold. Grandma always said, I never knew any famous women that did great things that were quiet women. So I stand by you, CZ. I love the book, but seriously, I've ordered it because I think, besides it being entertaining, I think it's a little bit of a wake-up call for those who take, I don't want to say advantage, but maybe sometimes don't see the forest for their trees. So I love it, CZ, and congratulations.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
That's a great segue. Hi, everybody. Chris, you took some of my nuggets, but that's okay. There's so many that there's plenty to share. Hello, everybody. I'm Christina Moore. I'm in the events profession, and CZ and I've known each other for quite a while, and really learned a lot from each other. My biggest nugget in the book, well, there was several, but our industry is not defined, and that was really loud and clear. I mean, I'm personally right now going through the process of hiring somebody, and I just got for a trade show manager, and I just received 150 resumes, and it makes me upset, because in that I either have 2 choices. I go through all of them, or help a recruiter to try to find, in between all the party planners or whatnot, I try to find, real professionals, and that is taxing on my time. So I think, because our industry is so loosely defined, and you talk about the 5,000 different titles, and I've had director roles when I really was associate manager in other companies. So it's very interesting, but I think defining and having clear definition, and it's starting with the strategy and the objective and the mission and the goals is key, which is another favorite nugget that you tell about how you were able to align the education that you were adamant about with the industry, and lining that up to the business goals, because that is what the C-suite understands.
Exactly.
So Christina, kudos to you. I'm really excited. I'm going to get a copy for all my team, and because there's lots to learn, and I definitely enjoyed the stories, the red thread throughout.
Thank you. And what a great use of red bed. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Lincoln.
Next person.
Okay, Lincoln, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, it's Michelle Springer, aka Springer, as Chris
Look
said.
at her. Welcome.
Hey, so I wanted to jump in, and I think something you said earlier kind of struck me as well, Lincoln, when you said, you know, this is something, there's nuggets in here that are applicable to many different aspects in life. And I did events in the past, and I've moved into training, and I'm a learning strategy manager now. And something that I deal with is resources. That's what I come up across or come up against in my day to day. So in chapter 8, on page 83, CZ talks about bravery and being brave enough to ask for the resources that you need to support your role. We all want to do our best. We all want to give our clients the best of us and what they want and deliver their expectations. But you need the resources. You need to be empowered to do that. And that really struck me. It's something that I have taken back and try to be more brave. It's something I've learned from CZ in my time working with her. And I just wanted to share that's something that I think is really important, and one of those great nuggets that's applicable if you're an event planner or whatever aspect in your life.
Thank you.
Great job, CZ. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Who's going to go next? Going once? Cindy.
I will. My name is Cindy Plamondon, and I worked with CZ at the Institute of Internal Auditors. She was our director of executive services. So she dealt day in and day out with our senior executives and our board. And I guess I was her C-suite representative.
Absolutely. And a great one at that.
I was the target audience for whom this book, every C-suite person should be reading. And I really commend her for when I worked with her, she was always ready for whatever challenge we had that came up. I tried to be a sounding board for her and be able to, make sure she had the resources she needed as much as I could. Sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. But I commend her for putting all her expertise out for others who are trying to make their way in this industry. And I also know what's not in the book. So there's a few more things that I know what's not in the book, but I really appreciate her being willing to do this. It's taking a risk, and she was never afraid of a challenge. So congratulations. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for being such a great support all those years, Cindy. I really appreciate you. You know that.
Anybody else would like to share before we move on? Going once, going twice.
Wait.
Oh.
Sorry.
Abby.
I haven't. Hi, I'm Abby. Christina, CZ, I haven't talked to you in a really long time, and I haven't read your book yet. It's in my Amazon cart. I will. But I just had to say, I'm really proud of you and well done and this accomplishment. And I did just want to say, even though I haven't read the book, I have learned so much from you about, process, about leadership, about ethics. And so I have really applied that, in my career as I've gone along. And I'm really looking forward to this and sharing it also with my team. So
thank you, Abby.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Abby. It's good to see you always.
All right. One more call. Jeff, you don't want to say something, man? No? Okay.
I'll chime in for a minute. I ordered 5 copies. They'll be here according to Amazon tomorrow, I'm hoping. I've not read the book yet. And the reason why I ordered 5 of them is that, I work with a lot of people in the industry that have kind of been thrown into a position to have to work on events and conferences in which it was not originally in their job description, so to say, that have stepped into these roles within their organizations, and they're just trying to find their way. And there are some other clients that have been in it for a while. And a lot of the challenges that they're having, I hear from Christina as far as what the book is about and where it would help people to guide them in the right direction. So I bought a lot of them because I want to hand them out to my clients, to the people that need them, that need to hear this information, to be able to create a roadmap for themselves so they can be heard, because it's constant re-education in our industry all the way up the ladder. It never ends, especially when there are associations and board members that turn over and they don't understand what the role is of the event organizer. And so it's an invaluable tool. So I look forward to reading the book and sharing it with the people that really need it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. I'd like to share my thoughts. I've worked with Susie and her team for close to 8 years. And I want to say we never lost a participant. We never lost a participant, and every event was top shelf. Ritz-Carlton style. And it was not just business, entertainment. I got to play some of the best golf courses in the country because CZ set it up. You know, I got to go to the Masters because CZ and her team set it up. Thank you. Thank you very much. But those of you who've read the book, I love this style. As you read this book, it's like if you're in the movie, and like you're reading a script for a movie, and the title is The Event Planner. And you can see this event planner, CZ, with her glasses, put on your glasses, CZ, and her briefcase, walking through the hotel room. And it's
smart, CZ.
Yeah, it's a movie. But one of the really favorite part for me is from the foreword written by Joanne Dennison on page 14 in the beginning of the book. And I'd like to read this for you. It is from the heart, and at times it will hit you in the gut. It will make you laugh and cry with both disbeliefs and finding out you are not the only one who has these things happen to you. So yes, it's a little bit history, a little bit storytelling, but most importantly, it is a very readable step-by-step guide as to what to do to legitimately get the respect you deserve. I am fond of saying that our stakeholders tend to take the attitude of, how hard can it be to get a room and order some coffee? My answer, much harder than you think, if you are doing it right. This is a good, comfortable read, packed with information you can use immediately. This is 10 times more valuable than the investment you would put in it. And this is something you want to keep handy, because you never know when you will be called upon to organize a function or an event. So if you haven't gotten it yet, get it. So CZ.
Yes.
Is there another book in you?
Much more access. I don't, Lincoln, if I write another book, it's going to be a la 50 Shades of Grey. Okay. let's just be honest. If I do write a book, a business book, it would be probably about the art of managing event managers, because that in itself is a whole different discipline, a whole different skill set. It requires a much more open-minded approach than I think a lot of people have. Because if you want cookies, candies, and you need the roses and the box of chocolates at the end of the day, that position is not for you. So if I do have another book in me, it will be specifically about that.
Thank you. And you know, there are a lot of people in the world today who they have this dream of writing a book. Do you have any words of encouragement or guidelines to these people who they would like to write a book, but they kind of holding back, sitting on the fence?
Honestly, if I can do it, you trust me. If I can do it, you can do it. It can be done. It can be done.
It can be.
Yes, absolutely. Just do it. Just start. Just put pen to paper, journal, organize your thoughts. You'll start to see a commonality there. You'll start to see a story. You'll start to see a vision. You can absolutely 100% make it happen.
Thank you. And I, as an author myself, I would ditto that statement. I walk around with this pen and Post-it paper, and you're always jotting ideas and putting them together. So thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I hope this was beneficial to you. I know most of you already have the book, but in the world today, in the marketing world today, word of mouth is still the most effective form of marketing. I know you all love CZ, and the book is worth it. Tell your friends, tell your network about the book.
And if anybody has any questions, they can stay on, but if you.
Well, I've got one real quick one, and I'm going to just throw it out there because I know, like I said, I know what I know. And that was just the best part, because I tell you, the game I like to play is figuring out who's who, but that's another story. If you
DM me, if you want to know, DM me. I will be.
Oh my God, I will. God love
only
y'all.
For this group only. I will be transparent.
And I hate to say it, but most of the folks I almost know on here anyway, and there's a story I could write a book on about each one of y'all. But CZ, here's the $1 million question I'm dying to ask. And as a friend, we have a lot of Oprah Gayle conversations anyway, but if you could go and, I'm not saying fix, but with an existing chapter that's in that book, if you could add to or take away, which one would it be?
I love that question. I alluded to it earlier. I touched on managing event planners and how that should be done. And I would love to frame that out more, but also ethics. Abby brought that up. And I'm so glad that you did, Abby, because that is so important to me in our industry. It is so easy to take advantage. And it is so critical, and it's so important that we do not do that, that we resist that urge, because it is noticed. And if we think for 1 second that it is not noticed by upper management, we are fooling ourselves. And that contributes to us being kept at a level of not having that access to the C-suite. Because the assumption there then is, well, you already get all of these perks. So therefore, why would we, then put you in a position of leadership? And you're only allowed those when you have that position. And so we need to strive, and we need to do a better job of that. And I think I did a good job of talking to that in the book, but I cannot stress that enough. It just kills me. Just recently, I was at an event with a dear friend, and I overheard a conversation where I just love traveling with her because she's an event planner. And before we go, I'll call the hotel, or she'll call the hotel and let them know as an event planner that she's coming on vacation. And, now she's expecting a suite. She's expecting airport transportation with no desire or need, or never going to have an event at that particular property or hotel. But the expectation that she has, because she's an event planner, she's due that. Stop it. Stop it. No, you're not due that. You're not due that. And thank you, Heather. Thank you for clapping. Thank you, Christina. Thanks for clapping. Absolutely. Because we just need to hold ourselves at a higher professional standard. And that just laid me, and I just wanted to have a conversation with her. I didn't. It's just, we have to stop. The name of the chapter is Ethical AF, but I also touch on, you're not special, your job is. It's a privilege to do this job. It's a privilege to be part of this industry. And it's a privilege because, our industry is so close, we're so close knit, and there's the most amazing people that are in it, and we're drawn to it, and we absolutely love it. So the love for our industry needs to transcend beyond our need for our individual self.
Thank you for answering that. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for asking that. I appreciate you very much.
I remember once at Sales Leadership in Las Vegas, CZ can get somebody to do anything she wants them to do.
I wish I had that superpower. What you talking about? Can I? Okay.
My good friend.
You will all buy 20 books.
CZ found out that Chick is a drummer. She got Chick to put on a dread wig and beat the drum. And if you know Chick, he was Primmon, Mr. Primmon, proper kind of deal. And she got him to put on this dreadlocks wig and be the, remember that, Susie?
I do.
That
I do.
was
And I
so-
remember everybody, that was like their biggest takeaway. Yeah, they loved that training session because he got real, he got real with
Yeah,
them. He
and
shared a little
everybody-
bit about his personality and himself. Abby, you remember, Chick, he was,
And everybody got drumsticks. People were beating the tables with the drumsticks. Oh, we had so much fun.
we did. We had a great time.
Hey, can I go ahead and ask a question?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. So I heard from, Abby, Christina, and others on here that you have a team or you're hiring team members. And so wondering about that next crop, CZ, what would be your advice for somebody who wants to take that first step into being an event planner and starting that road on right to become a professional?
Well, first and foremost, read All Access. I mean,
After that.
sure, because it does, the stories and the examples in the book really frame out what you are going to be called to task for and what your job actually at the end of the day is. There's just a misconception, I think, that exists with new professionals coming in, that it's planning parties. And I love to attend parties, so why wouldn't I plan a party? No, it's about return on investment. It's about culture establishment. It's really taking the goals and the expectations of the executives and matching those and making that happen and getting them to listen to you to make that happen. What happens a lot in our industry, and this kind of is a little off topic, but the leadership has this clear example of what success looks like with this particular event and how they want that survey result to be and what they want the return on investment to be and what that budget is. And then they screw it up. They screw it up because we don't have a seat at the table. And if we had a seat at the table, we could sit there and be like, this is how we know to operate within the parameters that you've set. Your success measures, I can meet those. We can meet those. But you have to give us the autonomy to do that. And a lot of times they get in the way and say, well, I don't want to do that. I don't like that idea. We've always done it this way. This is the way we've always done it. So this is the way we're going to continue to do it. Well, then how, isn't that the definition of insanity? Continuing to do the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So it's just being loud, being bold, being true to yourself. So, but I think young event professionals really need to have a clear understanding of the roadblocks that they are going to face in this career. And then also understand this is not champagne and celebrities. That is a portion of it. It maybe is 5% of the job. And it's great when that happens because, hey, who doesn't love champagne and celebrities? But there's 95% of what you're going to have to work through, and it's hard work to get to the perk.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
Well, anybody else have
Thank
any
you.
question they would like to ask? Okay. Well, again, thank you for coming tonight. And I know we all had fun. Wasn't it fun? If you give me a thumbs up if you had a lot of fun tonight.
I have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a good
Thank you,
night, and
everybody.
let's make 2020 the best year ever. Okay? Make it the best
Absolutely.
year ever.
Thank you, Lincoln.
Have a good night. You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Nice to see
Five,
everybody.
four,
Good to see you guys.
3, 2,
Likewise.
1.
Bye. Bye.